Hi, welcome to another Lower League Tips video. Today I'm going to talk about scouting and a few staff members as well. I think when it comes to scouting in the lower leagues and signing players, you need to look at short-term signings because essentially you're going to be moving up the leagues quite quickly. So short-term signings are ideal. Loans are a good option as well, but we're just going to cover signings today. So I would recommend that not to look too much for youth because a 5-star potential in Vanarama North, for example, would be potentially not that good in League Two. So again, don't try and sign these players for sort of 4 or 5 years. You only should really sign players at that length when you reach the top division of any country that you're in. So here's our scouting centre. I'll come back to this, but we're going to look at the staff first. I've got no scouts at the minute, so that's the first thing I need to do. So there's two ways of looking for scouts. One is in here, where we place advert for scout, which I've already done for the scout and the chief scout now. The director of football also acts as a scout in here. So does recruitment analyst, but they scout in slightly different ways. They scout more on performance attributes rather than physical attributes. There's another way of looking for staff, and that is in the staff search button. We can go new search, staff role. So we can go to recruitment, scout. And then this button's really useful. I use this all the time for players too. And it's the same for scouts. So you can highlight key attributes for a scout and it auto fills in exactly what they need. Now, adaptability really is when you're asking them to scout in another country that they don't know very well. And that's how quick they come up to speed. As we're in the lower leagues, we're going to knock that one off. And it auto selects for 15 as well. So we'll probably knock that down to 13 as a judging player potential and judging player ability. Okay, so we can see in the background here, we've got no people found. So we just drop this down here. This drops the attributes down by 1, down to 12, still no people, 11. Right, okay, so there's one person there. So there's one person here with judging player ability and judging player potential of 10. We could probably knock that down a little bit more to get a few more, 9 and 9. Mental attributes from this menu. And we can see here judging player ability and judging player potential. So I would say that judging player ability is the most important in here because we're not too bothered about the potential at the minute. This guy's one away and he's a true scout and that's his favoured role. He's a free agent. He's got good adaptability. He does know another area. He knows Nigeria as well, which will enable him he'll know players from that area already to potentially bring into your squad. But I'm in an English club and with Brexit, we're only allowed a certain amount of foreign players. So I'm after English players at the minute. But it's always worth having somebody with world knowledge because eventually this map all fills in when you get a big scouting network in the top leagues. He's okay. He's just come from being a player, so he's quite a new scout. So that means he's probably likely to improve these statistics potentially. So essentially before that, you can scout yourself. You can scout yourself by selecting players, player search, and then there's these packages here, recruitment packages. Now, this is your total scouting budget. So money will be taken off when scouts are traveling. If they're traveling overseas, it'll be more money. If they're traveling long distances, it'll be more money. But it also comes off when you take on a recruitment package. So the board will allow us to cover the whole of the UK and Ireland and everything between. But it does cost a lot of money. If you look, we've only got £32,000 scouting budget. If we go for that package, that'll be gone in a month. We're on the no package at the minute, which is really all the players known to the club staff. So we've got 2,196 players. Let's just make sure that's, 2,196 players, which our staff know. Now, if we just quickly, just for the sake of argument, click on this, it would tell me that it's going to take money off me. Now, there's a bit of a glitch in the game. I'm going to test if it wasn't nerfed in the last winter update. But the glitch was that you could do this, click yes. Now that's gone up from 2,900 to 12,900 that's available with the whole of the UK included with all the players. So it's obviously gives you a bigger pool to hit from. What the glitch is that you can go and scout all these players. So you can select them all and scout them and just let your scouts run through them. And then straight after, before you go over to the continue and go over to the next day, you send it back to that, which was a bit of a glitch because it didn't take any money off you. Like I say, I will test it to see if it was patched in the winter patch. So you must make sure that this is ticked here because it will show a lot more players here until you tick it. So there's 4,700 there available in the pool, but only 2,196 are interested in a transfer. Now this cog here will say that they're interested. You can actually move this back to slightly interested, which will bring a few more in. And sometimes if you pay a little bit more wages, etc., or it's a good deal, they will come to you. But I tend to leave it on just interested. I would tend to look for position by position. So I would go to, if I'm looking for a shadow striker, I'd select that position there. I'd pick my attributes. highlight attributes, midfield, shadow striker, take that down, no players, start taking it down again. Okay. So there's either that shows us one player where it's got all of those attributes on 8, or you can take the attributes back up a couple and then match 14 of 16, which means they'll match 14 of 16 of these attributes here. Take it down to 8, and let's have a look at this guy. So John Marston, look at his attributes, midfield role, shadow striker, attack. So you can instantly see his attributes, with the green being the ideal ones that he needs and the blue ones being the secondary ones. So that's what I would do. And then I potentially just scout player from that screen. So this guy is available on a free. A good option is to actually, rather than waste time sending your scouts out, we can actually get him in on trial. So if you right click his name, transfer offer trial, and then ideally 2 weeks will give you full view of him. Now what I've got already is I've done this with some of these players. So I've gone in and looked at all free transfers that's available and literally selected multiple and got them in on loan. So all the green ones are the free transfers. So if you can see, if I search by ability, is actually somebody that's available that I've bought in on a trial. I can't play them in my normal games. I can play them in friendlies. And there he is my top player according to the star rating. So that's a good tip, because I've put bids in for these players here. There's bid in from me. There's a bid in for him. I've bid on some of these players that are really, really good for me. And it's kind of free scouting. And literally, I mean, if we go back and reset this, so we can clear all these. In fact, let's just clear that. Let's go to contract status and then go expired or unattached, one or the other. Now, these are all freebies. So we can search by age. We can get potentially younger players. We can click the first one, hold down the shift button on a PC, go down to this one and click that. And literally we can offer trial to all of those. We'll go 1 week there, but 2 weeks gives you full knowledge. So that's a really, really good tip for non-scouting. Now, when you are in these divisions in the lower leagues, you shouldn't have to buy anybody. There is so much talent out there, and you can see that from just these guys I bought in. They're all free transfers. These are all young, 21, 22. There's one 34 there, 34 there, 20 there. And these are all very good players for my team and my division. That's certainly what I would do first. The second thing that I would tend to do is go to the competitions. I mentioned this in the last video, Vanarama North, season preview, and this is the Media Dream Team 11. So with the Media Dream Team 11 and the other players that are key players in the division, these are all the best players in the division with the different teams, and we've got a couple in there already. Now, if we notice on this guy, he was available for a free transfer, and we've actually tried to sign him. So some of these are either going to be very cheap in the lower leagues or on free transfer. This guy here, look, Darren Stevenson, he is available. So again, if he's saying approach to sign, he's either on a non-contract or his contract's expired and he's just still there at the club. And again, we can go into an offer trial. We know he's going to be decent because he's in the media top players. So there's the Media Dream 11 there, and then the other players that it sees as also important in that division. So without actually doing any scouting, we've done a lot of work ourselves. But to set up a proper scouting network, you need to go into assignments. Now, your director of football will be taking on this assignments, but I would always recommend to take that over yourself. So just go into his name and then take control of that. Okay, now we are assigning the scouts. So a day after we've tried to get these players on trial, you can actually see that we've got a load coming in here, all of these. And when they come in, you get the star rated straight away. So this guy, we got him on trial, but he's no good to us. You can actually just go in there and terminate trial from there before he's even in the club. Because when they do get in the club, they start taking up your training spaces. The training's not as effective because the coaches are training more players. So I wouldn't keep him in there that long. So on this guy here, 3-star already, so he's good enough for the side now. Potential Sky Bet League 2 right winger. So he's perfect for us. So we will try and sign him before anyone else snaps him up. Now, we've signed a lot of our players now with a tactic without using scouts, and we've gone from 150 to 1 to 100 to 1 now. And as you sign better and better players, you'll find that this changes all the way up to the beginning of the season. Now, if we go to our scouting assignments, we've now got a scout. He's agreed to join us. 9 current ability, judging player ability, and 10 player potential. So we're going to assign him. So if we got, let's say these are both scouts, because I've only got one scout in at the minute, but let's say we had a list of scouts here. Rather than create a new assignment, if we created a new assignment, it wouldn't assign it to a scout, it would assign it to a scouting pool, or we can assign it from here. The other way of doing it is clicking in, right clicking over his name, going to assignments, and then we can assign him from here. So we'll create a new assignment, which will just create a new assignment for him. So that's two ways of doing it. Now, if you think about where you are, we don't want random players. So I don't play anybody on the left winger. I play an attacking left winger. So I don't want them to come back with scout reports there. So I could go player type. Well, we're in the Vanarama North League. I'm not really looking for a hot prospect. I'm looking for somebody who'll come straight into the first team. I want it to fit my tactic. So it's going to look at all those positions. I don't really touch the attributes too much. I know some people do, and I know big streamers that don't bother for one reason or another, because they want to see it for themselves and make specific judgment. So what we're looking at, we don't want to spend any money. So we're either going for loan or end of contract. And really, I'm looking for permanent players. So we'll go end of contract. So that'll pick all the freebies. And then we'll look at the scouting range. So the entire scouting range is what the board will allow you to scout. They're not obviously not allowing us to scout here because these are grayed out, but we can also scout by competition. So if you're looking for youth players, under 18s and under 23s are good, or nation, England. We'll go scouting range. On a scouting mission like this, I would just have it ongoing because there's always new gens popping up, always players becoming available. So I just set all my scouts on ongoing, and he'll keep coming back with recommendations. Now, these recommendations will appear in the scouting center, and you'll get a mix of recommendations here. You'll get people that are scouted, but then you'll get these that are like free agent offers. So you'll either get players coming to you directly saying, will you take me on? I'm a left winger. Or you'll get their agents coming to you saying, I've got this amazing left winger who is the next Messi message, trying to big up his very average player. But essentially, these are quite good filters here. So you can set your preferences. You can get emails sent to you with the recommendations on, which I like to work with. So you can say to the system, how often do you want those emails? So during the transfer window, every week. Outside of the transfer, just every month, or 20 entries, whichever one comes first. And then when it says scout player, it's saying, well, you tell me to scout player, how long do you want me to scout it for? You can go 1 week or 4 matches, 3 matches, full knowledge. I always go 1 week to start with so I can have a look at them. When you offer trial, you can set in there when we're offering trials, and it was saying 1 week and we had to change it to 2, you can actually change it in there. So it'll automatically offer for 2-week trial. And also you can actually stop scouting if a player's transferred to another club or loaned to another club. So I generally would tick those. You can filter out what you want to see. So minimum recommended level, if you don't want it at 60 out of 100, you want better quality players, 70 or 80, you can say, right, the minimum that I want you to show me is 70. You can forward them all to your inbox. You get analyst teams sending you information. If you've got analysts going out there, again, you can send them into your inbox. That's what I tend to do. So I tend to put lots of things in the inbox, so it's all there for me, and then I can decide what I want to do here, which ones I want. So I'll just tick all those. And again, if I've got an age range, and again, I've not really got an age range in here, I might actually squeeze it back to 39. I tend to work with younger players at higher divisions and definitely with youth setups, but down here, you just take anything, to be honest, with experience. Agents can be a pain in the backside and show you some rubbish, but the odd one does come up, so I will get them to send it to the inbox. I tend to put inbox on all of these. Okay, so that's all your filters set up. So we can't really change that view. So what I tend to do is I go to shortlist, and we've got a default shortlist. Now I'm going to actually clear everybody off that. Okay, we'll start again with it. So what I would do is put a new shortlist. So I would be to check, probably do another shortlist called must sign. Is generally another shortlist that I use. So what I tend to do is in the scouting center, I'll just drop everybody by selecting all, add to shortlist, default, and I would put sort of 3 months. So it gives me time to look at them. And then I would clear all from there. Now, if we go back to the shortlist, default, we've got our players on here. Now here, I've got these custom fields. I've got playmakers, I've got ball winners, I've got goal threats. So if we're looking for a playmaker, so if we're looking for a midfielder, we can select midfielder there. There's 3 midfielders there. These are playmakers' attributes: first touch, passing, technique, vision, decisions, teamwork, composure. And then I can see at a view how good they are at playmaking, whereas I couldn't on the scouting center. So that's good that and I couldn't even on the player search. I can't bring these views into the player search. I can create new views, but you just create in view after view after view after view. So here I can decide what I want to do with them. Because it says approach to sign, I can actually have a look at him. I've already brought him in. He's already in with me on trial. I could look at this guy here because he's free. I can actually not have to scout him. So I'll offer him a trial. And then if I really like a player, I'll actually add them to the must sign. And also if you click this tab at the top, you'll get the knowledge. So you can see where our knowledge is around the world. And it would be advisable, certainly if you're managing a club outside of England at the minute, where there's less restrictions on foreign players, you can actually get scouts from all over the world, and that will help build your knowledge up. And the more knowledge you've got, the better your scouting will be in those areas. Finally, I want to talk about the director of football. So if we go into staff, we'll look at the director of football here. Now, he's not good at all, and I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him, to be honest, but he's got judging player ability 4 and player potential 4. So I like director of football. I'll cover why, but I don't like this director of football, but I'll cover why in another video going forward. If he was good at judging player ability and or potential, then we could go to the transfers. We can go in here, director of football, and we could go suggest transfer targets. And then again, as we are low league, we can go, okay, end of contract or free transfer. We'll go free transfer, and we are looking for somebody in this position. We can select role, but that will limit you a little bit. I would just do it as a position. We could suggest, and then Martin Knight will come back with 3 free transfers. We can go in, we can look, we can do the same, offer trial, and we can have a good look at him in the club. You can carry on doing this multiple times, so you can almost fill up every position. Suggest, he's brought one in there. Direct football suggest transfers. We'll do a striker, do one there, and you can literally get out like that. So they're my techniques that I use for lower league teams. It's very different when you climb up the league, but this is a lower league tips and tricks video after all. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.